and gentlemen, it's time for another round of Mind Your Fucking Business with your host, on time, Jeffrey Krentzman.
Thank you.
Dennis is already calling us
There
out.
are people calling us out already.
It's 10 o'clock. What are you talking about?
It's 10 o'clock on the clock here. So from the beautiful studios of Undefeated Media here in Bergen County, New Jersey, this is Mind Your Fucking Business podcast, brought to you, of course, as always, and we're thankful for this, DraftKings as well as the Bamboozle Project. Go check out the bamboozleproject.com. There is a little sneak peek info because you're listening and you're not on Instagram. There will be some new gear coming to the bamboozleproject.com in the coming weeks that actually was requested by you guys. So keep an eye on that to come out there. And when you go on there and you buy said new item or previous item, what
Lightning just struck my brain cells.
What was that?
Why don't we have a little contest, fan-made design?
We will get to that. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Use promo code MYPB. Save yourself 20% off your entire order on whatever you choose to order on the Bamboozle Project platform. This is episode 216, 216. Did I say that right, Eric? Was I close? I want to say that we had to practice. This has never been done until episode 216.
Yeah.
You were here for this.
Yes.
I practiced with Eric how to say it because it is a very confusing word, and it seems like I butchered it.
Say it again.
216. Okay, he's saying it's good. And Eric, our producer in the corner, knows. So it's good. Episode 216. So if you're listening on the Spanish dial, available to you today or whenever you're streaming this episode, we welcome you. We are taping this episode on January 14th. If you're looking at where we are in time when we talk about the things that we talk about on this episode, you can contact us on Instagram at Mind Your Fucking Business. We set a world record, actually. This was it Saturday? What was the day of the Boston game? There was like 350 something DMs that I went through. I spent about 4 hours Saturday night going through it, and I stand by what we say around here, which is that if you DM us, you're going to get an answer. So you can DM us there anytime you want. You can listen to the podcast on YouTube live this morning on January 14th, or you can also stream it at your convenience on Spotify and Apple Podcasts whenever it is good for you. So
everywhere.
We were on last Wednesday,
Yeah.
and the day before was the day that the news came out. You got hit by a double dose of bad news late in the day last Tuesday that both Igor and Adam Fox were going to be out. Now, you kind of, if you go back in time, expected that Igor was going to be out. You saw him leave the game the night before against Utah, but you had no idea that Adam Fox was going to be out or even out long-term for that matter, or even what even happened to him, and we still don't even know. But that's how the Rangers go about doing their business always. So they go to play. They are home Thursday night against Buffalo in what is their first game without Fox and Igor. And you could kind of, I guess, feel last Wednesday from being here and interacting with you and all that stuff that we get to do that it was a deflating atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
And something would have to happen now to get you back up because you're down on everything, and it's understandable that you are. The first period of the Buffalo game, if there ever was a textbook example of a game in which you struggle to get the puck out of your own end defensively, that was last Thursday night's game. I don't know, and I believe, I can't remember if it was, I believe it was Dave Maloney who was on the color commentary, had even picked up on it, that the Rangers just were having such trouble getting the puck out of their end on Thursday night early. They go down 2-0. They get back in the game. And here's what I want to illustrate. And I don't want to get on Jonathan Quick, because if there's anybody on this team that's probably in the last 3 years is immune to any criticism, it's Jonathan Quick. So I'm not going at Jonathan Quick, the person. I'm just making a point and using him as an example, right? People here get very gung-ho. Jonathan Quick has been great. He's the greatest backup. He should be the starter over Igor. And when you hear people say that, like, sometimes you think, like, have you been drinking at 8 o'clock in the morning to be saying something so stupid? But this is why Jonathan Quick is not a starting goalie anymore. The Rangers are down a goal late in the third. I believe there was 5 minutes and change left. They go on the power play. And immediately Jonathan Quick lets up a bad shorthanded goal that should have never went in short side. Now, I could also equally get on, and there's plenty of time to get on Alexis Lafrreniere, because he's always available to be criticized, and deservedly so. But just the fact that you let up that shorthanded goal, then, you couldn't generate offense when it mattered. There were a couple spurts there in the third period, particularly the first half of the third period against Buffalo, where they looked good. But again, the common theme here that I'm getting at, it's a term that I don't want to say that I've coined it, but I use it a lot this season. And again, it comes to fruition on Thursday night, and it is the term, quote, consistently inconsistent. They play well for 2 minutes, and then they play terrible for 20. Or they play bad for 20 minutes to start, then they play good, and then they backtrack again. This team is just so inconsistent.
The chat is saying that we're blaming Quick for that. Was it really his fault of
I'm not blaming. I'm just showing the example of Jonathan Quick in the sense that this team, anytime you have a chance to step forward, consistently inconsistent, right? You're down 3-2, you have a power play, then a bad goal is let up. Am I getting on Jonathan Quick for what his contract is and what he's done as a backup? Of course not. You'd have to be ludicrous to do that.
I'm asking, was it bad defensive play or is it
was
bad
also
goaltending?
He should have stopped that. Okay. I mean, he'd be the first to tell you that. I think he even said that in the postgame. But it also was a terrible back-checking or lack of back-checking by Alexis Lafrrenier on the play.
Of course.
And I want to tell a story. Remind me, because I had an interesting discussion, and I meant to put it in the show notes, and I'm going to put it in there now. A discussion I had with my son randomly this morning, driving him to school about Lafrrenier. I'll make sure I get to it in a little bit. Let's go to Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday is like the NHL schedule comes out in July, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I look at, and I don't know why I do this, I'm sure I'm probably the only moron that does, is I'm always intrigued to see how many national TV games the Rangers get. And they always get a lot comparatively to other teams because, A, they're an original six. They play in New York City. And generally, for the last 15 years or so, minus maybe the last year and a half, they've been extremely competitive. Mm-hmm. So when the schedule comes out, and I saw that they were at Boston on a Saturday afternoon, there is a thought in my head that maybe we'll take a road trip up to Boston for that game and do a day trip with the kids, right? I went to school up there. There's a million food places I still love. I could eat my way through that city and have 20,000 calories before it's noon. Not a problem. Thankfully, I didn't go. Saturday, let's start here. You're watching the game. Now, and I sat through, and here's the thing. When I did the postgame recap, people were saying to me, and I didn't think about this, but a lot of people said that they were impressed that I was still watching in the third. There was an aspect of it where it was so comical that it actually became humorous to me. And I think that was what was keeping me entertained or engaged. Let's talk about the first goal, because we could talk about 10 goals that Boston scored. And again, I'm not saying that as a typo. I'm not saying that sarcastically. Thank you, Doug. This was 10 goals. But let's talk about the first goal, which sets the tone and I think illustrates what is a major problem around here, right? There is a puck around the boards that Braden Schneider, and I like Braden Schneider, but I will tell you, and a lot of you even told me yesterday as well, that Braden Schneider has regressed this year, and that is 100% factually correct. Braden Schneider makes a play around the boards where he lets a guy not just go past him with the puck, but chooses to not even take the body. If he takes the body there, all he has to do is take the body. Yeah. He absolutely impedes that guy that I can't even say his last name because I don't even never heard of this player, who then lit the Rangers up for 3 goals. He impedes his progress and he doesn't walk in on a breakaway. The other thing that game, and I understand Mika was up 1-0, and I commented in the Rangers, I don't know if you saw this, the Rangers put up something like on their Instagram, up 1-0. And then I saw it 10 minutes, like a half hour later, and I wrote something along the lines of, like, they didn't realize you have to stay and play more beyond the first minute because they didn't play anything more than that. But right after the goal that Mika scored to put him up 1-0, not literally 4 seconds later, maybe even 3 seconds later, Boston had a breakaway that Quick stayed. Quick had a bunch of ridiculous saves in the first period that to be ended the period, be losing 3-1, it could have been 8-1. I love the fact. Now, this is where, I'm starting to get really annoyed. I love the fact that they're down 2-1 in intermission, and the NHL then phones down and says, hold on a second. Get both teams out of the locker room because there was a goal with 30 seconds left. We're going to award Boston a goal, and that puck went in.
What?
Yeah, so the Rangers, the period ends 2-1. right?
Yeah.
And then the NHL is looking, because Boston was on a power play there, and realizes that the puck did cross the line with like 30 seconds left. So they make the right call, which is the rule. Hey, we're going, the score is now 3-1, and we have to replay the last 37 seconds. Good. Embarrass them on national TV. You want to talk about embarrassing? They're down. I go into the kitchen, right? They're down 9-2.
Yeah.
I believe it is my daughter and my wife, for some reason, has the game on in the other room. And my daughter says to me, Dad, do you hear what they're chanting? And I couldn't hear. And I said, what? She says, they're chanting, we want 10. Like, of all the embarrassing things you could have, this is now a national TV game. This isn't, as Dennis is saying on the chat, and he's right, this isn't a WWOR Channel 9 game that no one's seeing. This is a national ABC game. You have a fan base that is chanting, we're not happy with scoring 9 against you. We want 10. And what do you think would happen?
They gave him 10. Yeah, they gave him 10. 10 it is.
They give up 10 and lose 10-2. JT Miller. I am so sick of JT Miller. I cannot.
Wow.
There's a lot of people I hate. Well, I don't say hate. That's probably extreme, but it may not be extreme with one person. But there's a lot of people that I do not like. That I just flat out do not like on this team. JT Miller is one of them. He comes out after the game and he says something along the lines of, we want to puke. That was the thing. JT,
they want 10. We want puke.
JT, how do you think we feel? How do you think the fans feel who sat there and sat on a Saturday afternoon? Now, granted, I had nothing else to do. It's not like I sat there and didn't make plans. But how do you think we feel that we sat through and watched on national TV? You get absolutely annihilated 10-2.
Those are the people on TV. People came and paid to go be there too.
There are people that I see that like come across TikTok or Instagram. Like I see a couple Ranger videos of like people taking the day trip up there. And I've done that. I thankfully didn't do it Saturday. I've done a Saturday afternoon Boston road trip in a day. Like we would leave before we had kids. My wife and I would drive up. We'd go to the game, a 1:00 Ranger game in Boston. We'd go get dinner in the North End, which is right there, which is like their equivalent of Little Italy. And then we drive home, and you're home by 10. Could you imagine if you did that? I mean, you drove. The Rangers have to reimburse your gas and Easy Pass. I mean, there's literally, yeah. So,
but we did win the Winter Classic.
You did, right? The Rangers are 6-0 all time in the outdoor. I mean, this is like Monday night. They come home to play Seattle. The one thing that you would expect, well, I shouldn't say you would expect, because with this team you can't expect anything. The one thing you would hope, right? The one thing you would hope is that they were so embarrassed by their previous game's performance in Boston, where your captain, JT Miller, came out and said, we want to puke, that they were going to come out inspired and would come out with some energy, with some spark in front of the home crowd at the world's most famous arena at 33rd and 7th Avenue. And to their credit, they did that, and they were up 2-0. Now, here's the thing that like is kind of funny.
Yeah.
I had a hockey game that started at 7:40 myself. Originally, when my hockey schedule comes out, I compare it to the Ranger schedule, and I don't like nights like that where I'm playing the same time as the team is. But I go out and I play. It's 2-0. I skate off, and the first thing I do, and Dennis is watching, and I have the shirt on from where I played Iska, is I skate over. I don't go to the locker room, which is straight ahead with the team. I make a right detour on my skates to go look at the TV where the Rangers are up, and I see it's 2-2. And it's like you cannot – it's just so predictable. I get home in time. They're down 3-2. Again, similar to the Buffalo game, you have a power play with a chance to tie it up. And not only do they not score, what is maddening is they don't get any realistic quality opportunities. I know you want to tell me that, well, Adam Fox isn't there, so the power play is struggling. Yeah, but you know what? Artemi Panarin is there. Mika Zibanejad is there. Trocheck is there. They have guys that are talented beyond Adam Fox. The power play cannot be life or death dependent on Adam Fox. It can be statistically dependent on him, where, okay, the stats are better when he's there, but it can't be dead without him when you have the other people there. And again, and they go on to lose 4-2. How many games this year? There's obviously a stat on this. Someone's got to be able to tell me this that is watching on the chat. How many games this year have they been down by a goal at home and the other team scores an empty netter? I feel like this is like the theme of home games, right? They're down a goal, they pull the goalie, and they get scored on. I feel like it's happening all the time. I want to say again the other night, and I'm beating a dead horse. And if those of you that want to get annoyed at me, that's fine. I honestly don't even know how you even have another counter argument at this point. Is Alexis Lafrreniere? I don't even know that this guy is even on the team anymore or even playing. My son this morning, this is a true story. I'm driving him to school this morning, and he says to me, "What are you going to talk about on the podcast today? Are you going to go?" I forgot what the word he uses, something like crazy, or you're going to whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "Dad, when you talk about Lafrreniere and you talk about how bad he is, remember the goal he had versus Detroit." And it took me a minute to think about what he was talking about, but he's right. Do you remember? And it was 2020. It was either 2021 or 2022. It might be 21, where they played a Saturday afternoon game in April. And Lafrreniere had a ridiculous move between his legs that was like, I mean, the number one play on SportsCenter top 10 that day. Then a year later, they had a game in Washington against the Capitals, and he did it again similarly, not to the extreme effect of how good the Detroit goal was, but he was there. And I said, Tyler, you know what? You bring up a good point, and it's actually like aggravates me, but you're right, is that he has the talent. We all know this.
He did it a month ago. He had some crazy move.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you just do it all the time? Like, I'll be okay if you get knocked on your ass and it doesn't work 4 times, but do it. Try.
I just I have like, I don't want to ever say that I hate a player on a team that I support in any of the major sports that I root for, right? But man, it is getting so easy to strongly dislike Alexis Lafrreniere. Like, I mean, to a point where I am getting to the point where I am almost like losing. I've almost lost what little patience I have with him left. And then my son this morning to remind me that story, which just he wasn't doing it to be rude, but like even makes me mad because it reminds you that the talent level is there. So I wanted to give you the opportunity today. We do this from time to time to submit your questions.
Yeah.
Because there's obviously a lot to be said, a lot of things to answer. Yes, you want
to before you do the questions. We're dead last. Is that correct? 2 weeks ago we talked about this. We had 44 points. We have 46 points now. We used to be 4 points behind. We're more like I'm not trying to rub it in. I'm just
right. What are we doing? The button? Is that what we're getting at?
You said I wasn't trying to bring up the button, but we can press the button. People are asking for the button, but I'm just saying, like,
the Rangers season is over. Like, let's if you think that this team is going to make the playoffs, how about this? I'll make you a deal. If this team makes the playoffs, and we all know I have 14 tickets to every game, I will, for a game, do a ticket giveaway where I will literally lose money and give away tickets to a playoff game because I know it's not going to happen. The team is not good.
Well, you and 13 of our top fans go to the game.
Yes, we'll send them. So we like to give you the opportunity from time to time to send in your questions, and I thought that this was a good time to do that. You hit us hard with questions. What we're going to try and do is find a way to combine a lot of the similar topics and, get as much in there. Where do they go from here? So I want to illustrate the day is January 14th, which is, the beginning of the new calendar year. And I mentioned that for this reason. The Rangers, there's 2 terms here that you could do, and that you could go, and that is rebuild or reload, right? There's 2 different things. There have been rumors. Now, we don't know if this is true at all, okay? There have been rumors. I'm going to say it is rumors because, again, it's not confirmed anywhere, but it's out there. There have been rumors that Chris Drury is under the directive. You are not allowed to go into a full rebuild. You can't. James Dolan is the one who's saying that, who's his boss. And if he's being told that by James Dolan, guess what he's going to do? He's going to listen to James Dolan, as he should. That's his employer. It's what he should do. Here's my problem. I mentioned today is January 14th. It's the beginning of the year. Okay. So let me ask you something. What is one of the major most popular resolutions that people have
for New Year's?
Yeah. In the beginning of a year.
Probably lose weight.
Thank you. You nailed it. Here's what I want. Why I wanted you to say that.
Yeah.
If you, let's say that you are of the majority and you nailed it, and you say to yourself,
your class.
I want to lose weight this year.
Yes.
I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to do Weight Watchers points. I'm going to do whatever the shots that are, I guess the shots wouldn't be a good example that are out there these days. You're going to do the old fashioned weight loss method and commit to it.
Yeah.
Okay. If you say
trim the fat,
you're going to trim the fat.
Yeah.
If I say to you, Doug, I say you can either commit 100% to your diet.
Yeah.
And then we'll look at 6 months and see what you look like. And if you've reached your goal, or you could do it at 60%. Which version of yourself is going to get the right answer at the end?
Going in head first to 100%.
100%. Here's what I'm getting at. If
we're in this
if Drury is under the directive that you can only rebuild 60% and retool or 40% and not do 100% rebuild, it's not going to work. Because right now, to me, other than Igor Shesterkin and maybe Adam Fox, what is here that needs to be here? If you're not going to win for I don't want to say a while, but a few years, right? And maybe I'm wrong. I'd love to be wrong. Prove me wrong. That'd be great. But if you're not going to win for a few years, why does Trocheck need to be here? Why does I'll go down the list. Sam Carrick, anyone have to be here?
So you kind of said it already before, how like Laf's got these moves, just we don't see them. He's talented, right? I think the big problem, especially if you do this, like you're doing these fake rebuilds that aren't really rebuild, the culture never gets rebuilt.
Thank you.
Like they call it in business, they call it you have a cancer in the office. You want to remove that. You have someone who's negative to your culture.
Nothing here. Nothing here needs to stay. Other than Igor and maybe Fox, you've already seen what you're going to see from the people that are here. So to me, there's no one that's untouchable. I would even go as far, and this is so stupid what I'm about to say. Yeah. So I should probably think about this more, but I'm going to say it. Yeah. I understand that whatever you take from the Ranger family right now and trade, what comes back matters, right? Of course, you're not just giving away things for free. But there's also something here where it's addition by subtraction, because I now need to rid myself of Vincent Trocheck. I've had enough. I need same thing with Artemi Panarin. Same thing with almost anyone that's on the top 6 at this point. Lafrreniere would be an example. It's not working, and I'm not going to sit here and be delusional and think that all of a sudden it's going to work. So yes, the returns matter. They do. But there's also addition by subtraction by getting rid of this.
Who do you think? So in the past, we got rid of we thought Trouba was a problem in the locker room. We thought culture-wise. Is there anyone on the team right now besides Igor that are culture builders that we can latch on to and help us grow?
No, there's no
everyone's gone.
And Chris who has arrived, because people were freaking out that Chris wasn't going to be here today, and he's just arrived, I saw, who's asking, is the, in quotation, future untouchable? And I'm assuming he's mentioning the Gabe Perreault. Gabe Perreault is not untouchable. There's no way he's untouchable. Doesn't mean I'm giving him up easily, but he's not untouchable, right? Another question that I thought was interesting, and I'll let you guys chime in and tell me if you agree with this. Oh, Igor can go too?
Wow.
So Dennis was saying Igor can go. I understand. I didn't know that's where he stands, but I understand where if you had that philosophy or where it might make sense, I understand where it would make sense. So here's the other thing. Who has been the Rangers' best player this year? Like if you look at people were asking me, who do you think has been the best player? I'm going to give you an answer, but then
Can I guess first?
You can guess.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you who the Rangers' best player has been this year. All right. But then I want to do something a little additional to that. I'm going to give you 1 B and 1 C. So the player I'm going to tell you who's the best is the best player. But then I'm going to give you 1 B and 1 C for a reason, because I think they deserve it.
Okay.
You want to guess who it is? Go ahead.
Jonathan Quick.
No, it's not Jonathan Quick. The best player that the Rangers have had this year is Mika Zibanejad.
Okay.
Maybe you don't agree, and that's fine.
No. I agree. I agree with you. It's just that it's funny because we're always knocking him for his one-timers.
We're all knocking him. Yeah. And I hear about the one-timers from Chris all the time. Was in the chat. And Nikolai, who's saying, imagine if we had Jack Eichel. Yes, that would be nice. So Mika has been their best player, but I'm going to give you 1B and 1C.
Okay.
But I'm putting them at 1B and 1C, and I'm telling you that there is a gap between Mika and 1B and 1C.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give you 1B, and that is Sam Carrick, who I think has been very good. For his role, he has been good. And I would think that some team, Colorado, Vegas, speaking of Jack Eichel, Dallas, a team that is going to make a cup run can use a guy like Sam Carrick for sure. He should be highly coveted because the price tag's not going to be a lot for him because of who he is and what he plays, but he can be very helpful. So I'm going to put Carrick as 1B. 1C, I have Gavrikov. I loved Gavrikov for months. I will say in the last month, he's come back down to earth a little bit, but I still think he's been very good, but he's been deserving of that. I'm not putting Igor in the conversation. If the season was the first 2 weeks, it would be Igor. But that's not how it works. So other than Mika, and again, 1B being Carrick and 1C being Gavrikov, I can't tell you anyone who's had a good year.
Of those guys, are they good culture and team wise and in the locker room?
So Carrick, I think, absolutely is a locker room guy, and he fills a fourth line role. Again, I can't imagine that general managers are not going to be calling Chris Drury for him. And Chris Drury might as well, get something for him. I don't think he'll be here. Gavrikov will not be going anywhere. He just signed his 7-year deal. I do think with Gavrikov now, again, I take it with a grain of salt because I didn't know a lot about the guy before he came here. So I want to pretend like I've studied him on Wikipedia because I haven't. But I will say that I have been impressed with Gavrikov in the sense, like, if you look at their post-game stuff in the locker room, he talks a lot. He does come across more than I would have thought. it's not to say that I didn't expect him. I just had no expectation or no, thought of, well, he's going to be a upfront guy in front of the camera. He's been pretty good. Mika, I think, overall as a locker room is more of an asset than a detriment. But Mika has always been such a mental guy. It's always been his way, and he gets on himself a lot, and you can see that. You could see the other day when he said in the locker room after the Seattle game, he's shot now. He's playing well. I'm not getting on him. But you can tell it's wearing with him mentally because he's the sort of player that the way things have been going, he wears it on his sleeves. You know that with Mika. So I see on the chat, let's talk about the next question you guys submitted, and I see that you guys already brought it up in the chat, Dennis and Alvin, and that is, can you compare this to the late 90s, early 2000s, where we are right now? So I am 40 now, 46 years old, right? And I've seen a lot of New York Rangers hockey. I've been, for the most part, spoiled. If you think about it, the years that I've been a fan, other than a gap of 1998 to 2005 coming out of the lockout, they've been pretty good. But the early 2000s is by far the worst New York Ranger hockey I ever saw. And what's interesting, and a lot of you don't know this because a lot of you that follow us are younger and you were either maybe not born then or you were not following the team, is back then in the early 2000s, there was no salary cap. So you could go out, kind of like baseball is, and I don't even think there was a luxury tax then. You could go out and sign whoever you wanted. So the Rangers would go out and sign guys like Theo Fleury. They would sign guys like Bobby Holik or Pavel Bure, right? Because money didn't matter. You could spend whatever you wanted. And what was interesting about that time is when there was no cap and all they would ever do, Glenn Sather, who ran the stuff back then, would go after overpriced older players. It never worked. And it showed you that money doesn't necessarily buy success. Because those years, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure they had the highest payroll by far, and they were terrible. So the early 2000s were bad. Where this does compare, and it's painful for me to say this, is when you were in those years, the only glimmer of hope you would have to get better was you could look at upcoming free agents and say, well, the Rangers can go out there and sign any of these people because money didn't matter. Now there's a salary cap. It's harder to do that. And as we're seeing, these players are not getting to free agency. Jack Eichel, Kirill up in Minnesota, they're signing before they even get to the summer, where Connor McDavid, where they're a free agent. So you don't even have the opportunity. So it's forcing you now to rebuild or retool or create your identity, however you want to look at it, by drafting correctly, which this organization is a complete fucking disaster with. So you can't. That's why I'm legitimately concerned. And I see the comments about Bobby Holik and Scott Gomez. How did that work out? I'm going to tell you a Bobby Holik story. It's a true story. I remember the day, July 2nd, 2002. All right. Free agency opened on July 1st. And it was rumored that the Rangers were going to go hard after Bobby Holik, who was going to become a free agent from the Devils right across the river. And again, the Rangers are mentioned in this not because he feels a need or the Rangers didn't have 1,000 other needs, because there was no salary cap. It didn't matter. The Rangers went after everyone. They would pay for players. And July 1st, free agency opened. You can look this up. I'm pretty sure this is true. And I was in my apartment in Boston because I just graduated BU. And I was waiting on ESPN because we didn't have phones. We didn't have all the stuff we have now. And I was waiting for Bobby Holik news all day. It never came. And there was like panic, like what's going to happen? Where is he going to go? The next day, he signed. I'm pretty sure he signed with the Rangers on July 2nd, 2002. That's a very good example of signing the premium product on the market, because you can't. You didn't even have a salary cap you had to contend with, and it still didn't work. So what has me worried now, maybe even a little bit more, is I don't even have that luxury to say that if somebody gets the free agency, well, I'll just go out and get them right now. No. I don't even know that I can do that, because there's a salary cap and players aren't getting there. So you're now reliant on Chris Drury or whoever is in the general manager's shoes, or with Ryan Clow or whatever the assistant GM is, they have to build from within or trade right or draft right. And I don't want to say they haven't traded well. Chris Drury's had plenty of wins on the trade. I mean, look, he moved Keandre Miller, spent the money on Gavrikov, brought in Scott Morrow and a first and a second round pick. It's not a bad trade. I mean, I don't want to sit here and get on Chris Drury that he's been terrible with trading, but he's been bad with drafting, and he's been bad with some other stuff. So we shall see with how it compares. But that's why, well, like, and I put up there the other day that, like, Saturday may not be rock bottom. That Boston game might not be rock bottom. There is definitely things like you could look at and think it's going to get worse. Someone brought up a question as well, which I thought was good, and that is, what is the identity of this current group, right? Like, and when you think about it, it's a very simple answer. There is no identity. There's no identity whatsoever within this group. I don't know who they are. Like 2 years ago, when you go back to where it was the polar opposite and they win the President's Trophy and, they get to Game 6 versus Florida and that disaster, the overtime winner in Game 4 and having the lead in Game 5. That group, to me, like, if I look back at that group, they had fun. This group doesn't even seem to care. They go through the motions. As they're saying in the chat, I could see Alvin and Dennis, Soft is there. Rempe is useless. Rempe is the most useless NHL player I've ever seen. And unfortunately, he has to play on the team that I support. There's a lot of, but there's no identity or positive identity of who they are. There's just not. It doesn't exist.
And that's what I was trying to get to. It's like, who can we build around? Who's the bright light that we can trim the fat, get rid of the negative people, and bring in positive, good team players? It's better to have someone who's like positive and works as a team and works hard than someone who's super talented and is negative and not doing shit.
There is no one that you could tell me they need to keep, right? I would like right now, and it's going to be a long 9 months. 9 months from now. Actually, you know what? The NHL season starts earlier next year. They're starting at the end of September. That's like a new thing in the new CBA. So you have 8.5. So the preseason's in 8 months, okay? I would hope that when you and I are sitting here covering the preseason of the 2026-2027 season, we're talking about a lot of different characters, a cast of characters. Because I don't want to sit like Vincent Trocheck, to me, and I said this the other day on a show I did with someone on Instagram, is so immune to getting criticism. You never hear the guy criticized, but he hasn't done anything. Any of these people can just go. If Chris is still here in the chat, I'm glad he's here, hopefully, for this last question before we go to the football and the Buffalo Bills this coming weekend. And that is this question, and I think this is fair. You know that Chris Drury is going to be active, right? You don't know to what level. You want him to be very active, but you want him to be moving players that other teams that will go on a cup run, a.k.a. Artemi Panarin, will want back. What do you want in return? Do you want picks when you're a franchise that seems to be just dead terrible luck with picking? Or are you asking back for players or prospects?
Who are you going to get?
I think
want to get rid of everybody. Who are we going after?
I think your track record with drafting is so bad, right? That I don't know that I would want picks back for these players. I really don't. I think I'd take now, as Quintella is saying, and he's right, salary relief and depth is good. I would take salary relief, right? And that's Trocheck, right? That's like his deal. Because I'll say this, Trocheck's back end of his contract that he's currently on, because he's here for 3 or 4 more years, is awful. So if you can get someone to get rid of someone take Vincent Trocheck, hello, he's all yours. And someone on a cup run that thinks they have a chance might seriously take him. I still would love to get rid of Mika. And again, I'm not getting on Mika. I even said 10 minutes ago that I think he's been their best player this year. But if someone wants to take Mika's contract and get rid of it till 2030, go ahead, take it. There's no one that I'm sitting here saying is untouchable. The only one that maybe comes to mind is Igor, but I don't think they would trade him anyway. And I don't think anyone's taking it up. Where I would disagree on Trocheck, Alvin, is the contract is not good. The Trocheck, to me, and he also hasn't done a lot, right? Remember, the Trocheck contract is going to get worse by the year as he gets older and older. And if you're going to sit here and actually commit to a rebuild, I'm not sure what value the back end of a Trocheck in his career has here to be here for that. I just don't think it is. So tonight, the Rangers, we were going to go tonight. Actually, we had plans to go tonight, and we're not going to go, and I'm okay with it. And the Rangers on Saturday are in Philly. We'd planned to go. My kids thought we were going. The last 2 years we've gone to a Ranger game in Philly. We'd gone the day after Thanksgiving. We're not going anymore. I'm not spending the money to go watch them get their ass kicked in Philly around those fans. And it has nothing to do because it's my birthday, is what they're saying on the chat. It has nothing to do.
Oh, well, they beat me to the punch.
What?
They beat me to the punch.
Yeah.
We want to wish you a happy birthday.
Well, thank you.
Wait. We got to wish you a happy birthday the right way.
Which is what? You give me a
the
Stanley
right
Cup?
way. Well, no, I can't. That's impossible, especially with this team.
No. I don't even. I think the Stanley Cup that I saw when I was.
Happy birthday.
Thank you for the light show. If you're following online.
Boom.
Yeah. Where's the birthday bump?
Birthday boy. Everyone. Look, I'm not saying that the people are. Alvin wasn't here.
But you want to hit the button?
That people are asking for the button.
Go ahead. You can do. I mean, well, but again, I want to aptly rename the button into a reality button.
Reality button. That's what you want to make it? Are you sure? Final answer? I mean,
yes.
I feel like next year we need to have like a set line that once we cross it, we start to panic. I feel like we've gone beyond panic.
Go ahead. You can hit it, and then we'll go to football.
Alvin, this one's for you, baby. I don't want to do this to anybody.
Go ahead. Let it go.
Oh, boy.
All right. There we go. Panic button. Now you all can rejoice, to those of you that follow and watch the stuff. All right. And someone was asking me about a ticket against the LA Kings. I do have that game still in March. So if you are interested in tickets, send me a DM. We can definitely talk. I believe it's on a Monday night too in March. The NFL, some good games this weekend. Actually, they all were really good until the last game, which kind of wasn't great.
Yeah.
But other than that, they were good games. Saturday, I think the best game of the weekend is the first game, and that is the Buffalo Bills at the Denver Broncos.
Yes.
It is actually the game with the closest line in terms of points. Buffalo, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, opened as a 1.5 point favorite and now is a 1.5 point underdog. It has shifted. So Where are you going here?
This one's tough.
Broncos or Bills? You can put it in the chat, your pick as well.
So Broncos have made a couple miraculous recoveries. They haven't been like punched in the mouth and like they lost 3 games. They haven't really had like a bad loss. So you know what I mean? They haven't really, they've had these miraculous recoveries. Buffalo's been through the mud, and like Josh Allen's playing like you could tell he hurt his hand last week. His knee went the opposite direction. I don't know how that his leg didn't break in half.
Those who are asking the line, the Broncos are favored by a point. So you're taking the Bills.
I would like emotionally, I would like the Bills to like Denver's gotten lucky this year. Like they didn't put the time in, but the Bills have been the doorstep. Kansas City's not here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Baltimore's not here. So Dennis, who is saying Penn Allen to give a little Ranger thing, Dennis refers to Josh Allen and Pan Allen because of Pan Aaron, who doesn't perform in the playoffs. Josh Allen had quite the game the other day in the playoffs. I am going to take my wife, who was wearing her Josh Allen shirt all day on Sunday when they played, will be rooting for Buffalo. Until Buffalo wins in a big spot, it's hard for me to take them. They have the better quarterback, and I also think Sean Payton sometimes is a little bit overrated. I'm gonna take Denver, but I want to be wrong. The second game Saturday is also an excellent game. 2 teams that do not like each other. San Francisco at Seattle. To me, this is Seattle written all over it.
Yeah, I mean, San Francisco, they just lost Kittle, popped his Achilles. They got a lot of injuries on the team. They squeaked through it last week. Seattle's on fire.
I want to thank. So we know that being a Ranger fan is not easy. We all go through this. Yeah. The other night, I am watching the end of the Eagles 49er game with my son, praying that the Eagles would lose. It's all I wanted to happen, right? And the Eagles lost, and I was so happy. And my son said to me, "Dad, I've never seen you so happy in a sporting event because your teams always lose." And I said, "You know what? You're right. I have to take joy in a team I hate losing." So I thank San Francisco, but their ride ends in Seattle. Wow. All right, the first game on Sunday I'm into because I don't like one of these teams at all. Okay. My only wish remaining is that this one team doesn't win the whole thing. And that is the Houston Texans at the New England Patriots.
Yes. I want the Texans. The Patriots have not gone through enough misery to be good again.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah. They rebuilt. The Jets have been in hell for 16 years. The Patriots had one bad year, changed their coach, and next thing you know, they're Super Bowl favorites.
Get out of here.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with the Patriots. I don't want them to win.
What?
Look, Houston is underrated. Their defense is great, and I understand. Okay, you held Aaron Rodgers to 6 points. It's not that great. You know, they're older, and they are. But Houston's defense also shut down the Bills earlier this year. I don't think it would be like the upset of all-time upsets if they won, if the Texans pulled it off. But, I mean, I would think the Pats win. The last game, I don't know why. Yeah. I'll watch it, but I can't. I can't get that into it. I don't know why. That is the Rams at the Bears.
Rams at the Bears.
You should be into it. It's you know,
these are all great games.
Yeah, I mean they're all good games. I'm gonna pick the Rams there.
Matthew Stafford, you know, he's tough. He kind of like I don't want to say deserves it, but you know Matthew Stafford's put in his time. The Rams are working hard, but the Bears they have some luck and you know what's his name is running around with his nail polish on, slinging the ball.
The Bears should have lost. I don't know how they didn't lose the other night because I turned that game off. It was like 21-9. And by the way, you know that sports gets ruined. You know how sports gets ruined? That when a playoff game the other night between the Bears and the Packers, which is I'm into, and I have the channel, so I'm not complaining about it because I couldn't watch it because I have it, is at an Amazon Prime game. Like whatever happened to every damn game being on channel 4, 2, 5, or 7?
You need everything. Game. No, you need everything now. You need cable. You need Netflix now to watch.
Why is it on Amazon?
You need Amazon. You need.
What is during the season? The Thursday night game is on Amazon, and I got accustomed to that. And again, it's a Thursday night game. So you're gonna tell me like you're gonna put the Jets and the Titans on a Thursday night? Okay, that's fine. like I can live with that, but not a playoff game, not a Bears Packers. This has got to be like available to people. And everyone's saying in the chat it's about the money. Of course it is about the money, but it's just like there's also like a fine line where it shouldn't be about the money. It should be about common sense. Because if you don't have Amazon, and look, most people do, but there's definitely people that try to, like, if you were an elderly person, okay, you think they know how to go stream a game on Amazon Prime. They turn on the game on Saturday night looking to watch Bears Packers because that reminds them of when they were fans 40 years ago on a Saturday night in a cold Chicago, and they can't watch the game because it's on Amazon Prime.
I feel like you make more money if it's on basic cable. We saw more advertising space, more people have access to it. I feel like that's the play, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. So we will see where it goes. So the Rangers now tonight home against Ottawa, Saturday afternoon in Philly, and then they go out west. They go to play the Anaheim Ducks and Chris Kreider and Jacob Trouba and Frank Vetrano, who finally broke their 12-game losing streak, by the way. The other day, they'll be out there on Monday, and then they have back-to-back as they're at the Kings on Tuesday. One thing I want to mention with the Anaheim Ducks, I was wrong because I had said to people in the offseason and even in the beginning of the season that I thought Anaheim would be really good. I thought Joel Quenneville was going to have a good year out there, Kreider. You can all get on the fact that they should not have gotten rid of Trouba and they should not have gotten rid of Kreider. If you want to have that point, you can. But statistically speaking, none of them are having that good of a year out there. So you can't sit there and be posting it now like, oh, Kreider's got 30 goals. You see what happened? No, he doesn't. The team's not playing well, right?
Yes. Before you sign off, I want to show you one thing. Remember our little logo conspiracy?
Yes.
So let me show you this. This is the brackets. This is the brackets of this year.
Let's see. Okay, so now you're getting at that because the picture
is red. Well, the logo has a lot of colors, but it looks like, based on this image here with the brackets, that they're honing in on the red and the yellow.
So the yellow would be the Rams.
That's the only color. The only close thing to the Rams. But three teams over here on this side are red. Buffalo's got red in it. Texans got red. Patriots got red.
So if your theory's right, the Rams represent the NFC, and any team that is not Denver represents the AFC.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. We shall see. We shall see.
That's the theory.
We thank the Bamboozle Project, as always, for their sponsorship, thebamboozleproject.com. Use promo code MYPB at checkout. Save yourself 20% off your entire order. And again, new gear coming. I don't want to tease what it is, but I'll tease that there is stuff going there. And we thank DraftKings as well. We appreciate you guys signing on today. I understand that things are not ideal in Rangerland, but hopefully they either get better or they start making moves that down the road long term make them better. That might be the better short-term approach right now, is looking at what moves I can make right now in the short term that are going to help me out long term. We thank you for your sponsorship to the Bamboozle Project and DraftKings, as mentioned, and we will see you next week.